Hello everyone, it's Laura here with the Novice Garden. So first of all, let me apologise, it's been a while since I did a video and things have been really hectic around here. We're about to get married, 3 weeks, oh I can't believe it. So I've not really been keeping up with my video recording or posting, so apologies for that. But I am really excited to take you guys, you probably see some of the nice things going on behind me. I am really excited to show you all this evening my kind of end of summer August garden. There's a lot of weeds, I'm not gonna lie. Things have kind of gotten away from me, but there's also a lot of really beautiful things, and I think definitely this year is a year to focus on the beautiful things. So let's take a little walk around. I'm gonna tour you around kind of the main area of the garden. It's really small, so it's not gonna take long. I'm gonna tour you around the main part of the garden, then we'll take a look and see what's going on in the vegetable garden as well. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's just take a look at the garden from the gate, which is the kind of entryway. Things are looking really good, probably about as good as they're gonna get this year. You can see all of the new plants that I added in the central area over here have really taken off. We'll have a closer look at them later. Apologies for the kids playing, guys. You know what it's like, summer, they're enjoying themselves. So this side of the garden is the sunnier side, and actually I always surprise myself by thinking that I'll like this side more because I can plant more sun-loving things over here, but I always prefer the shadier side of the garden. It is looking quite nice. We've got a few holes kind of going along the border just from needing to take things out, but overall it is looking a bit wild but pretty nice. You can see the Atroparpurium acer is starting to put on a little bit of autumn colour. So you can see the leaves start to go a little bit more of an orangey red. I've got some nasturtiums under here, some kind of allium seed heads. I always think they add a really nice textural element to the garden, so I leave them. Now the archway, which we put in at the beginning of the spring, has done okay this year. You can see the clematis climbing up at here. The roses haven't put on much in the way of height, but they will. Let's take a closer look at the clematis. So this one is a group 3 clematis. It's called Star of India, and it has these really beautiful kind of velvety purple flowers which kind of nod in the breeze, which is really nice. Kind of dotted all over the garden I have some of this Verbena bonariensis, which the butterflies love, so do I. This is one of the new David Austin roses that I planted this spring. This one's called Claire Austin. It has some blooms on it. Look at that. I do need to do a little bit of deadheading here. Just in front of the arch. This is one of my 2 standard tree roses that Robin got me for Valentine's Day, which was in beautiful bloom. Still has some on it, but it's starting to just lose its petals now. Below it here, I've got a couple of dahlias which have been absolutely demolished by earwigs and caterpillars. So I've just treated them, and hopefully they're going to bounce back and give us a little bit of interest kind of later on towards autumn. In this raised bed here, I have got some grasses and in the middle some Verbena bonariensis. And also some Allium sphaerocephalon, which is a tongue twister. Now, let's take a closer look at them. The bees absolutely love them. They are just going over now. You can see how they start to kind of white out at the tip. So I've really enjoyed the frothiness of the grass texture that you can see here. And that is Stipa tenuissima, or Mexican feathergrass. I've also got some oxeye daisies. And I did have some poppies, which you can see the seed heads here. Earlier in the summer. They were in bloom and they were beautiful. So let's take a walk further up through the garden. This area here is actually a little bit of a jumble, but it is very pretty. You can see the height, the grassy height that I've got there with the red flowers is Crocosmia lucifer. It's kind of underplanted with lots and lots of nasturtiums. And in there we've also got a royal purple smoke bush, which actually hasn't had an amazing year. If you've got a smoke bush in your garden, how has it done this year? Let me know in the comments below. So I've also got some borage kind of dotted around the garden. I always plant borage every year because the bees absolutely love it. So on the opposite side of the path to my nasturtiums, I've got some gold yarrow, some nicotiana in the middle here, and just in front of the nicotiana I've got some mint planted and a chamomile patch. So let's go and take a little close look at that. This is just regular garden mint, and it has these really cute little kind of pom-poms on the end. It smells amazing. And there's the chamomile just behind it. So as I said, we've got some gold yarrow, and just behind the yarrow I've got some junior walker Nepeta. Some monstrous big nasturtium leaves. I didn't plant them, they've obviously self-seeded. And then a limelight hydrangea, which has done so well. This is the first year this hydrangea's been in. I'm obsessed with it. Look at those big panicle blooms. They're just starting now. Can you see those little pink centres? They're just starting now to blush a little bit. Obviously, limelight hydrangeas start kind of lime green, the blooms anyway, and then they go this kind of creamy white throughout the high summer, and then towards fall, autumn time, they start to take on a kind of blush pink, which you can see actually probably a little bit more clearly here. And then behind the limelight hydrangea, just if you look through the stems there, you can see I've got some purple Pallas heuchera. So here is a closer look at those purple Pallas heucheras, and also some weeds, so apologies for that. They have stunning big glossy purple leaves, and then they also put on these little bloom stalks, which the bees also love. Look what I've just spotted. Can you see it? A tomato that's almost ripe. So if we head round now, this is my seating area, which actually hasn't had a lot of action this summer. It's been quite wet recently, so yeah, it's pretty damp there. The urns have some, oh goodness, let me try to remember the names now. I think they were called Sardinia petunias, which have done okay. They're beautiful hot pink. And then I also have a slightly kind of pink veined variety. And then in the centre we've got some Dusty Miller. So here are my dahlias, which are doing pretty well. These are actually my wedding flowers. So this one here is called Chat Noir. I've got 2 blooms on that just now. And then this one here, I think next to it is a Cafe au lait, but it doesn't have any blooms yet. So I'm gonna head from here round back into the centre of the garden, and we'll take a look at some of the new things that I planted in an earlier video. over this side, this was a kind of shadier area. I've got another limelight hydrangea, which is actually looking a little bit floppy, so I'm gonna have to come in and stake that up. Some Nicotiana and some really pretty kind of green and purple heucheras. And then if we follow the border around, you can see, oh, this is the weediest part of the garden, apologies. I've got some purple kale, hostas. The one in the middle here is looking really sorry for itself. I need to give that one a little bit of attention. And then just an absolutely crazy bank of geranium roseanne, which is looking so good. Underneath my bird feeder and my little pink perfection cherry tree. And a little bit of rubbish over here which we need to tidy up. And then this part of the garden looks towards my raised vegetable beds, which we'll have a look at in a second. There's the other border that we just looked at with the Nepeta. Have another little bank of Nicotiana in the middle, which isn't blooming yet. The mint and chamomile, kind of a jumble in the centre here. It's actually some bloomed out delphiniums, which were just stunning, but they have kind of finished now. My archway. And then my phlox, which is just looking really gorgeous. This is probably a nicer angle of that flower bed. Can't see all the junk I need to tidy up. So the phlox over here is just looking really lovely. Why don't we head on up to the back and take a look at the vegetable garden. So at the entryway, I've got two new raised beds. One which has got some things coming up in it. I just seeded these the other day for some kind of autumn salad. So we have mixed leaf lettuce on this side, spinach up in this corner, which you can kind of see some little seedlings coming through, and then some rocket in this quarter, which you can also see some seedlings coming through. And over on this side, I have carrots and spring onions, which are not poking through yet. And in the largest of the raised beds, I've got two super productive courgettes or zucchinis, some shallots at the front, and then at the back, this big teepee here is Aurora green beans or runner beans. I've got another smaller teepee here, which I'll show you what's happening. It's essentially sugar snap peas, which have come undone from their netting, so I have to prop them back up again. I've got a Gertrude Chico rose here, which does have a couple of blooms on it. It smells so amazing when it's in full bloom. And in this raised bed, I've got some purple kale, some Bright Lights chard, which is looking a bit eaten. And here are my shallots, which are starting to separate and divide and do their thing. My courgettes. It's like a courgette jungle. Let's take a look at the runner beans. So the blooms are really pretty on these. You can see they're kind of peach. And we've just got some teeny little runner beans starting. And then over here, the pea jungle desperately needs to be propped up. I'm going to do that after this video. You can see they've just come off their netting. Actually, another thing I wanted to show you over here, which is kind of in my vegetable garden section, is all the blueberries. They've done so amazingly. I think this is probably the best year for blueberries that I've had. Let's taste one. I'm gonna get this one right here. So good. So here's a look at the garden from my seating area. Something else produce-wise that I'm growing that I'm really excited about are my tomatoes. So I've got this big planter here which has about 5 tomato plants in it, and I've also got another planter down by the patio next to the house. Oh, sorry, we've got a bit of an entanglement happening here. So these are absolutely laden with fruit, but we don't really get a lot of sun here in Scotland, so this is the closest I have to anything being ready. So these tomatoes are tumbling toms. So this border in the garden I'm not going to spend too long on because it is essentially a jungle that desperately needs weeded and some attention, which is my job for this weekend. But this is the shadier side of the garden, and this summer it's had foxgloves, brunnera, astilbe. You can see some of the bloomed out astilbe on this side, some alliums, euphorbia. Yeah, it's been a textural delight. Oh, update on the rowan tree. Okay, I'm just heading over. So you might remember I think it was my previous garden tour where I spoke to you about this rowan tree, which, this one here, it had some serious bug damage, but also a lot of damage. I had attacked it with some homemade insecticidal soap, and it was looking really sorry for itself. Well, it's bounced back massively, actually. I think it's grown by about 4 feet this year, which is amazing. I'm excited for the kind of autumn fall colour on this. It's going to look amazing. And you can also see, if I just slowly pan round, some digitalis, which were monstrous this year, and behind this limelight hydrangea we've got some ferns and some hostas. It's just a really kind of beautiful leafy green part of the garden. Thank you so much for joining me for this late summer evening garden tour. As you can see, things are looking pretty wild, a bit messy, but that's actually how I like them. I don't like things to be too tidy or too neat. This is a well-used, a little bit neglected this year, but mostly just, let's say, well-used garden. And I think, you know, as long as you enjoy your garden space and plant things that you love, and it brings you joy, that's all that really matters. So I think what I'm actually going to do to finish up this video is just make a little cut flower arrangement for my bistro table over on the patio next to the house. And then all that's left for me to do is to say I hope you guys are having a really great summer in your garden, and I hope you join me for some future videos. Bye.